Hello everyone, I am Aditya Dadich and I am covering the macroeconomics topic on cement and steel. So today we are looking at an important question: what happened to India's steel and cement industry when RBI increases interest rates? So cement and steel are not ordinary industries. They are the foundation of India's infrastructure growth. In our union budget of fiscal year 2026, the government has allotted 11.21 lakh crore of capital spending. Because of this, even small policy changes can impact millions of jobs and investment worth thousands of crores. In this video, we will discuss three possible policy scenarios. We will identify which scenario is the most realistic and then compare AI based prediction with real data from RBI, ICRA, and CRISIL. Our main focus will be scenario C, where the RBI increases the repo rate by 150 basis points. Let's begin.
So, I am Tushar Kewal and I will be discussing about the macro and sector snapshot. So, before discussing the policy shock, let's understand the baseline situation as of January 2026. So, India's GDP growth for financial year 26 is projected at 7.3% to 7.4%. So, inflation has cooled down to 2%, which is well below the RBI's target of 4%. The repo rate currently stands at 6.25% after two consecutive cuts in late 2025. Government capital expenditure has increased by 10%, reaching 11.21 lakh crore. Now looking at the industries, steel demand is expected to grow by 8 to 9%, but capacity utilization is only 78%, the lowest in 4 years, mainly due to cheaper imports and large capacity additions. Cement demand is projected at 475 million tons, growing 7 to 8%, but utilization remains stuck at 70%. So both industries have strong demand outlooks, but profitability is fragile. Thank you.
Hi, I am Aditya and I am talking about policies. So here we are covering three scenarios where scenario A is expansionary fiscal policy. This means the government spends a lot on infrastructure and cut corporate taxes. Because of this, GDP could increase by 1.6%, steel demand could rise by 20%, and steel to cement demand rise by 25%. However, this policy would increase the fiscal deficit of to 2.4% since the government has limited money. This scenario is very unrealistic, not realistic. So, scenario B is contractionary fiscal policy. This include carbon taxes of 2,000 per ton on steel and government cutting subsidies and reducing government capital spending. As a result, GDP would fall by 1.4%, steel demand would drop by 12%, and cement capacity utilization would fall to 58%. This policy is politely difficult and only moderately feasible. So, scenario C is moderating lightning. This is our main focus. In this case, the RBI increases the repo rate by 150 basis points over 9 months from 6.25% to 7.75%. This lead to a 0.8% fall in GDP. Housing start reduced by 18%. Steel demand fall by 5% and cement steel demand decline by 8%. Among all these three, this is the most realistic and likely scenario.
Although it causes a 0.8% GDP loss, RBI feels this is acceptable to maintain long-term stability. Overall, the growth is moderate, better off scoring 6.5 out of 10. For business, especially cement and steel industries, the impact is negative. Housing demand, which makes half of cement sales, falls by 22%. Highly indebted firms faces financial stress, while steel companies are still working. Working capital cost rises by around 425 crore per year. As a result, firms cut jobs, delay investment, and consider mergers. Steel score 4 out of 10 and cement score 3 out of 10. For households, the impact is mixed but mostly difficult. About 1.35 million jobs are lost, and EMIs increased by approx 5,000 per month on a 5 lakh rupee loan, and many delay purchases. Some benefit from lower inflation and higher saving returns. Overall, household scores 4 out of 10. Thank you.
So my name is Arvind Kumar and I am talking about fact checking and the forecast. Next we tested whether AI predictions are reliable. So we ran this scenario through ChatGPT 4 and Cloud 3 and verified the result with real data. AI claim once had a 150 basis points hike would reduce GDP by 0.8%. However, the IMF's 2021 India multiplier study shows a 0.4 to 0.6% impact per 100 basis points, meaning the actual impact should be closer to 0.6%. So AI is slightly overestimated. AI claimed to predicted a 22% drop in housing demand, and CRISIL 2023 report shows a 12 to 15% drop for 100 basis points, and NRO data after earlier hikes slowed 18% decline. So 22% is plausible and AI is accurate here. AI claimed these said cement utilization would fall to 58%, but ICRA's 2024 report shows historical floors to 62 to 65%. So AI underestimated the floor. Overall, AI accuracy is 70% for Marco and 60% for sectoral analysis. Thank you.
Let me quickly take you through the infographic section. It starts with the policy trigger. The RBI raises the repo rate to 7.75%. This slows down the GDP growth rate to 5.8%, cools the inflation demand to 3.4%, and reduction in the housing starts by around 18%. Higher credit sales reduces the demand, inventories rise, and margins shrink. Steel faces margin pressure, cement enters consolidation, and the merger activity rises by 40%. So, what do we learn from here? Monetary policy is powerful and has real consequences. It can erase up to 1.35 million job opportunities. Stakeholder interests clearly differ. Government gets the credibility and gains the credibility. Businesses suffer and households are divided. AI tools are very helpful, but they miss the behavioral effects and the real world limits. The final recommendation is very, very clear. If the RBI tightens in 2026, it must be supported by targeted credit measures, especially for MSME construction loans and faster infrastructure funding to reduce the overall impact.